Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Reviews May Vary. I'm Kenya, and this is a Top 10 Tuesday. Okay, so for 31 days of Kenya, I am doing a Top 10 Tuesday every Tuesday. And last week, I posted my Top 10 Tuesday on Wednesday. So hopefully this week goes a little bit better. This one is the top 10 books that I want to read for the winter. And to me, winter started immediately after Thanksgiving dinner. So anything I want to read between now and the first thaw, which in Rochester is sometimes in April, then I think that counts as wintertime. But I also do not want to say that these are my top 10 because who knows? I hate to commit to something like that. But this will kind of also double as a partial library and bookstore haul because the books that I have checked out from the library, I obviously want to read. And the ones that I bought from the bookstore, I obviously want to read. And theoretically, because I did all of those things, checked them out and bought new books, I must be planning to read them soon because who would do that with no intention of reading their books? No one. That would be crazy. So let's jump into the books. As always, if you have read any of these or have opinions about any of these, especially the library books, which sometimes are due before I can get to them, please drop a note in the comments so that I know to prioritize things that you are recommending. So the first one is The Summer of Everything. I put this on hold, which means I must have heard about it from somewhere. And actually, all of the ones from the library here I had put on hold. Our library has gone back down to pickup only as opposed to being able to browse. So I don't think I have anything in this stack that I just happen to pick up off of a shelf. So who knows why I picked this book. But it's about a young boy, a young man. So it's a young adult book. It looks like maybe he's a senior and his name is Wes. And basically he's been pining after his best friend Nico and working in a local indie bookstore, and a coffee shop is hoping to buy the property. So it looks like maybe he's been putting off trying to take on more and more responsibility as an adult because it starts with adulting is hard, and kind of looks like maybe how he navigates some of that, having to take more and more responsibility as he's getting older would be my guess. You know what? I don't know why I think it's a young adult book. I assume it is. Oh, well, on the front it says, a must-have for every YA bookshelf. I don't think I've ever read any Julian Winters before, but I'm excited to read it. When all of his problems converge, Wes must face the one thing he's been avoiding, adulthood. So I'm going to read that sometime before it's due, I hope. Wrong Guy, Right Room. So this book was offered to me by the author on Instagram, as I believe she was, she's trying to increase buzz about her book. So as you might imagine, a woman crawls into bed with the wrong guy in a hotel. It's her long lost ex from high school, and she thinks she's crawling into bed with her fiance. And the hotel is shut down because of a virus, so they are trapped together. And you might expect, as I do, that there's probably only one bed available. And I'm excited to see what happens next and if there's going to be kissy time, or, is she going to choose the old love or the new love? And how is that going to resolve in a way that doesn't make us think that the main character is a raging bitch? That is the kerfluffle of the new love, old love, love triangle thing, right? Is how it resolves without everybody seeming like a bad person. So I'm excited to read this. This is on my December TBR, although I'm behind on every other thing I'm supposed to be doing. So hopefully I will get to it very soon. The Good Lord Bird by James McBride. I have read a couple of other things by him. So this one is about Henry Shackelford, who is a young slave living in the Kansas Territory in 1856, who gets caught up with John Brown before the raid on Harper's Ferry in 1850s. Yep, 1859. So he's traveling with John Brown, who believes him to be a girl and his good luck charm. And the Good Lord Bird is both a rousing adventure and a moving exploration of identity and survival. So I believe, if I'm remembering the other James McBride that I've read, it's gritty and just so well written and just great storytelling. So I'm looking forward to this one. I picked it up at Barnes & Noble because they were doing their mix and match, buy one, get one 50% off. And I am a freaking sucker for some buy one, get one 50% off, which my partner loves to say, you know, that's only 25% off, right? Whatever. Shut your mouth. Ooh, this was a National Book Award winner. And it's a new series, which I won't be watching because I don't really do that. The next one, so looking forward to this one, The Only Good Indians. It is a horror story and centers around, I believe, 4 American Indians who have attempted to kind of escape their culture and past that comes looking for them in, let's see, what did it say? Vengeful and violent ways. Seamlessly blending classic horror and a dramatic narrative with sharp social commentary. Woo! I'm excited about that. Tracked by an entity bent on retribution, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. So that is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. And this one's been on my list. It was not a buy one, get one 50, but I don't care. I believe it was on the, that shelf in Barnes & Noble when you walk in. That's like, get 30% off, but members get 40% off. I think it was on that shelf. So, but I'd wanted it anyway. We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. So this book is about a girls' field hockey team who's traveling, I think, right outside of where the initial accusations about the Salem witches occurred. And by the description, it sounds like they take advantage of some of the old superstitions that are around the area and in order to win the championship or something like that. That's my impression from reading the description. And I'm really excited to see what's actually happening in the book. The chapters are dense with 1980s iconography from heathers to big hair. Barry expertly weaves together the individual and collective progress of this enchanted team as they storm their way through an unforgettable season. And it looks like Quan Berry, she lives in Danvers, Massachusetts, and teaches in Madison. And I love the inside cover of the book. Interesting. We Ride Upon Sticks. A Brief History of My Body is a collection of essays by queer author Billy Ray Belcourt. And piece by piece, Belcourt's writings invite us to unpack and explore the big and broken world he inhabits every day in all its complexity and contradiction. A legacy of colonial violence and the joy that flourishes in spite of it. First loves and first loves lost. Sexual exploration and intimacy. The act of writing as a survival instinct and a way to grieve. So I don't read a lot of essays or poetry, but I think this was recommended. Maybe it was recommended on a queer author list, but I'm also always asking people for recommendations that I can read and then recommend for the Blackout Magazine Book of the Month recommendation that I do. So that magazine is focused on Black and Indigenous people of color who identify as queer. So this could have been recommended to me through that, or I could have found a list somewhere, or I could have read one of the essays and really wanted to find out more about Billy Ray Belcourt. It's impossible to know because I'm ridiculous and I don't keep track of things like that. You've all seen this one. Cinderella is Dead. So I love me a fairy tale princess retelling, reimagining, reboot, whatever. And in this one, our heroine, Sophia, is a 16-year-old girl who lives in a land where all of the 16-year-old girls go to an annual ball where princes choose them to be their wives. And if they are not chosen, they are never heard from again. And on the night of the ball, Sophia decides to run, and she ends up in Cinderella's mausoleum and meets one of the final descendants of Cinderella and the stepsisters, I believe. And then they decide together to take down the patriarchy once and for all. And go girl, yes, I'm into it. And hopefully I will be getting to this really soon. I have a couple of things that I maybe want to check out first. For example, The Violent Delights, which was on my list first. So I'm going to try really hard to read that one. Its due date is sooner. And then this one will probably come shortly thereafter. And look, I just picked up that one, which actually makes 10 because I think there's only 9 here. Winning at life. Number 7, 8 perfect. Nope, number 8. Number 8, if you count that other one. 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. This is a book about a man who has written a book about the 8 perfect murders from literature, I think. And then an FBI agent shows up at his door and tells him that there is a copycat killer using his murders, or that doing murder, making murder, murdering people in similar ways to the ones in the book. So that sounds overdone and also really interesting. She's looking for, the FBI agent is a woman. So we're looking at a bit of a, what is that TV show? Oh, it doesn't matter. I am ready for this book. Probably not going to get on the list before some of these others because I really am chomping at the bit for Cinderella is Dead and The Only Good Indians and The Good Lord Bird. But 8 Perfect Murders sounds pretty cool too. It's a mystery, right? So I'm not super mystery girl, but I like a good book regardless. And finally, number 10, if you allow that I picked up another 10th book over there. Number 10 is the second book in the Chaos Walking trilogy. So this book is by Patrick Ness. The first book, loved it. It was equally ginormous. And basically, settlers from our world, our planet, have gone off to another galaxy or another planet or whatever and settled there and then gotten rid of all of their awesome technology and resettled. And we have a main character whose name is Todd. He's a 12-year-old boy just about to turn 13 in book 1. And when boys turn 13, they become men. In the town where he lives, he's the youngest boy. So once he turns 13, they will all be men. And he finds out during the course of book 1 that there is a plan to wreak havoc across the land once he becomes of age. His 2 dads send him out into the world before that can happen. And basically, his town follows him. So it was really good. I love Patrick Ness. This is maybe the 3rd or 4th. That was maybe the 3rd or 4th book that I've read of his. And I really like his writing and storytelling a lot. Which you would have to assume if I'm jumping into book 2 of this beast of a trilogy. Totally worth it. And luckily, the third one is also out because I'm not going to want to wait for that one either. So I'm going to guess that all 10 of these will be read by the end of January. I hope. But I own some of them, which means that those will start to shuffle away from being read as the due dates for the other ones get going. Because that's just how it is. And that's not all of, that's actually what's due now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books from the library out that are due before these. And I think I have 4 books on hold at the library. So I love the library, and the due dates keep me going. All right, so that was 10 books I plan to read this winter / book haul. I will catch you on the next one.